The most expensive thing you will ever own is this second you just wasted. And for Elias Thorne, that realization came exactly 1 minute too late. The clock on the wall of the high-rise office didn't just tick. It thudded like a gavel in a courtroom. Elias was a man who measured success in decimal points and offshore accounts. In the predatory world of Manhattan real estate, he was known as the closer. He was 45, wealthy beyond imagination, and utterly bankrupt of soul. To Elias, people were variables, and time was a commodity to be exploited, never cherished. He sat behind a mahogany desk that cost more than a mid-sized sedan, ignoring the vibrating phone in his pocket. It was his daughter's 16th birthday. He had missed the 5th, the 10th, and the 15th. He told himself he was building an empire for her, but in reality, he was just building a monument to his own ego. The vibrations stopped. Silence filled the room, a cold, sterile silence that smelled of expensive cologne and old paper. Just 10 more minutes, he muttered to the empty room, his eyes glued to a contract that would merge 2 of the city's largest firms. 10 minutes, and I'll be the king of this skyline. But the universe has a way of balancing the scales. As Elias reached for his gold-plated fountain pen, the world tilted. The sharp, fluorescent lights dimmed into a sickly amber. The thudding clock slowed down, the seconds stretching like pulled taffy. Tick, pause, thud. Elias tried to stand, but his legs felt like lead. When he looked at his reflection in the glass window, he didn't see the sharp executive in a tailored suit. He saw a gray, translucent shadow. Elias Thorne, a voice echoed. It wasn't a loud voice, but it had the weight of a mountain. A figure emerged from the corner of the room, draped in a coat that seemed to be woven from twilight. He didn't carry a scythe, nor did he look like a monster. He looked like an old watchmaker, his hands stained with oil, and his eyes glowing with the soft light of 1,000 setting suns. "Who are you, security?" Elias gasped, clutching his chest. "I am the keeper of the unspent," the figure said, stepping into the light. "I collect the moments men throw away. I have a warehouse full of your missed dinners, your ignored phone calls, and the sunsets you were too busy to watch. You are a very generous donor, Elias." "I don't have time for this," Elias snapped, his instinct to dominate taking over. The keeper smiled sadly. "That is the first true thing you have said in years. You literally do not have time for this. Look at the clock." Elias turned. The second hand of the mahogany clock had stopped, not because the battery died, but because the air around it had frozen. "You are in the 11th hour," the keeper explained. "The space between the breath and the departure. Most people spend their lives thinking they have a bottomless well of seconds. They treat time like sand, infinite and cheap. But time is the only currency you cannot earn back. You can lose $1 million today and make $2 million tomorrow. But you cannot lose a Tuesday and find it again on a Friday." The keeper waved his hand, and the office walls dissolved. Elias wasn't in Manhattan anymore. He was standing in a dusty driveway. He saw himself, 10 years younger, sitting in his car, gripping the steering wheel. A little girl in a tutu was standing by the front door, waving. "Daddy, come see my dance," the younger Elias's daughter cried. The Elias in the car looked at his watch. cursed under his breath about a meeting in the city, and backed out of the driveway. "Stop!" the older Elias screamed at his younger self. "Just get out of the car. It's only an hour. The meeting doesn't matter." But the ghost of his past couldn't hear him. The car drove away, leaving a trail of dust and a heartbroken child. Scene after scene flashed by. Elias saw his wife sitting alone at a restaurant on their anniversary. He saw his father's funeral, where he had spent the entire service answering emails in the back pew. Every time, the lesson was the same. He had traded the irreplaceable for the disposable. "I can fix it," Elias pleaded, a new desperation in his voice. "I have millions. I'll give it all to charity. I'll build hospitals. Just give me one more day, one more hour." The keeper shook his head. "The price of a moment is a moment. You cannot buy a heartbeat with gold. You had 86,400 seconds today. How many did you actually live? How many did you give to the people who love you?" Elias fell to his knees. The weight of his wasted life felt like a physical burden, crushing the air out of his lungs. He realized that his skyscraper was just a pile of stones, and his bank account was just a row of meaningless zeros. In the end, we are not the sum of our possessions, but the sum of the moments we were truly present. "Please," Elias whispered, tears finally breaking through his frozen exterior. "I just want to tell her happy birthday. Just 30 seconds. That's all." The keeper looked at the frozen clock. The second hand vibrated, struggling against the weight of eternity. "The rule is absolute," the keeper said. "A moment past never returns. However, once in a century, I encounter a soul that finally understands the weight of the loss. I cannot give you back the years, but I can give you the choice of how to spend the very last of your account." The amber light flared into a blinding white. Elias blinked. He was back in his chair. The mahogany desk felt solid. The clock was ticking again, tick, tick, tick. His phone was sitting on the desk. He didn't look at the contract. He didn't look at the clock. With trembling hands, he picked up the phone and dialed. "Hello?" A teenage voice answered, sounding surprised and cautious. "Lily," Elias said, his voice thick with emotion. "I'm downstairs. I'm coming home. I don't care about the party. I don't care about the gifts. I just want to sit with you. I'm so sorry I'm late." There was a long silence on the other end. Then, a soft sob. "I've been waiting for you for a long time, Dad." "I know," Elias whispered, "and I'm not wasting another second." Elias Thorne walked out of his office, leaving the billion-dollar contract unsigned on the desk. He didn't take his briefcase. He didn't call his assistant. He ran to the elevator, feeling the precious thud of his heart in his chest. Every step, every breath, every heartbeat was a gift he would never again take for granted. He finally understood that the greatest tragedy in life isn't that it ends, but that we wait so long to begin it. Time is the only thing you can't buy back. Subscribe now to ensure you never miss a story that reminds you what truly matters.